What's up guys, it's TyranitarTube and welcome to BDSP Roamers, Roll the Wang News. Okay, so of course, we always start this off showing you something that's real. So let me show you this. Now, if you're subscribed to Nintendo on email services, they send you surveys sometimes. Now, shout out to Speedrunner99 who found this. There is a Nintendo official survey, and this is how it goes. Approximately how many hours per week do you play video games on Nintendo Switch? Let's answer this. I've never played. Now watch this. Which, if any of these games, did you know about before today? BDSP. What makes you interested in buying Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and or Shining Pearl? This is a specific question. Now this is where the stuff is interesting. I've never played the original games, so I am excited to experience these games for the first time. The original games had some of my favorite Pokemon. I played the original games and I'm excited to revisit these games. Remember, these are pre-created options that you select from. I tend to buy most of the games that come out. I'm interested in the story of the games. I'm excited to see what updates are coming to the remakes. So this is the thing that people are talking about. Now, the phrasing of this question implies updates would be coming. It could be something as little as, if you think back to Heart Gold and Soul Silver, the update of Pokemon following you and the whole game being Diamond and Pearl graphics. Or you could take it to the extreme and talk about the updates that Auras brought, which was some of the craziest updates, which were forbidden for mentioning. Mega Shinka, don't say it, and then Primals. Now, this is valid. You are valid for making that point because this survey says this. These are pre-created questions and it's almost accidentally implying that, well, there will be updates to the remakes. If you're someone at Nintendo and your job is to gain information from the audience and there are updates in the remakes, this is a question you would put. But at the same time, I have to be fair to this. I think it's kind of a rhetorical question. I know this phrasing does literally imply there will be updates because even Link's Awakening didn't really have updates from the original Link's Awakening. They're literal exact remakes, just in higher quality graphics. I mean, the graphics is the only update. Saying I'm excited to see what updates are coming to the remakes as an option. If I click this, it's like I'm expecting updates. So this is the kind of big thing that everyone is looking at right now. And it is a big copium funnel. People are taking this to the extreme and really thinking Mega Evolution could come back, and we'll talk about that a bit later. But remember that one video I said about being calm and nonchalant and just seeing what Game Freak will do, because this is a random Nintendo dude who made this survey. I'm not gonna take this as the gospel. While these are specific Pokemon remake questions, like, this isn't a set template for any remake games. The original game had some of my favorite Pokemon. I'm interested in the story. I'm excited to see what updates are coming. These are specifically thought of questions. Let's click next. What makes you interested in buying Pokémon Legends Arceus? I didn't say I was excited, but sure, let's go through the questions here. I'm excited to experience a new Pokemon storyline. Okay. Now, we did hear that there is some kind of story going on in Legends Arceus. Something about Arceus. I tend to buy most Pokemon games that come out. What a cocky I'm excited to see how the game story ties into Pokemon Diamond version and Pokemon Pearl version. That was really weird wording. They used the originals names. I think they mean Shining and Brilliant. This is an interesting one too. I mean, we know these games take place in the past, but we don't know if it's one canon timeline. The memesters on the Pokemon channel called it Pokemon Diamond and Pearl remakes and literally premakes. They use the wording premake. It could be just non-canon lore of what happens in the past, but this question kind of implies that there is something that's going to tie into the future that Diamond and Pearl or Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl take place in. The wording here in using Diamond and Pearl version kind of reminds me of what Xenia said in Auras about there being split timelines. So you have normal Ruby and Sapphire where there's no Megas, and then Mega Evolution timeline. The wording here kind of makes it sound like you think Legends takes place in Diamond and Pearl's timeline specifically, but that's just messing with the wording. It doesn't mean anything. I'm excited to play a Pokemon game with new action and RPG elements. So far we know the basics. Some leaks said something about an ATB gauge, which is actively timed battle, which would mean like the whole game is going to move in real time and you have to wait for the bar to fill up to do something like use a move or run away, which would work, but it doesn't say that anywhere else. We don't know. I'm excited to revisit the Sinnoh region in a different game. It's really nice to see these things because we've got no information about the game. Feels like we've gotten some information here. I'm at least a bit happy, even though we don't know what this Nintendo dude is thinking. It would be really dumb if they're asking questions that aren't real, extracting hype that doesn't exist. If one of the options is I'm excited about updates, but there are no updates to the games, Why are you asking this question? The Sinnoh region has some of my favorite Pokemon. I'm excited to research wild Pokemon and create the region's first Pokedex. Have you played any of the games before? I selected all of them, including I've never played any of the games. Okay, I just went through their whole survey. They asked me about Pokemon New Snap, or New Pokemon Snap and Pokemon Go as well, and how much I play. So in terms of updates, while it can mean the extremes people are thinking, it could mean down to even the flower lady being in that town who gives you the shaman thing, which is only in platinum and not in diamond and pearl, and that there are platinum dex Pokemon available even though it's diamond and pearl remakes. But it's worth mentioning that we already have some things, at least mini updates. That's really the big news story for something that's at least, you know, real, seemingly. I'm gonna be fair, I didn't get this survey myself. I've searched everywhere and everyone is saying that it's real, so I mean, I don't think anyone would fake a survey like that. There's a lot of other stuff I've heard, like people speculating that July is the month that we'll get news because on their Twitter, they've been counting down the generations. So May was the month of Gen 6 Kalos. They tweeted about that every day. June is currently the month of Unova, and they're tweeting about that every day, which means that July is the month of Sinnoh. But if you go onto the official Japanese Pokemon Twitter, they're not doing the same countdown. It could still work that they're just hyping it up because of news that would come in July. If it was meaningful enough to build up to news and a month of Sinnoh in July, surely it would also be on the Japanese Pokemon Twitter. Alright, our last news story is rumors. What is a video like this without looking at some rumors? Now, do I have to say it? Rumors? There are no rumors. Funny enough, there haven't been many rumors floating around for Pokemon BDSP. I mean, there have been some bad ones, which I just totally dismiss, but a lot of people have been sending me this one, so we're gonna take a look at it. So, I'm just gonna say, before we even get into this, there's no doubt this is fake, okay? Just looking at what's in front of us, this is way too in-depth. This is not going to be real. It even says you can refer to me as Ashley to forecast this. The whole point of looking at this is just to get some creativity flowing. To forecast, so they say they work as on the social media team for IOCA. Yeah, right, bro. I was not going to reveal this info the second I made this burner account, as I knew it'd be instantly dismissed as a fake. So I want you to know something, okay? So this is posted on some subreddit where it's posted on a subreddit where there's a 2-day wait if you make a new account. Why would someone so busy in ILCA know what this 5,000 member subreddit's rules are? Holy frick. And the reason I'm covering is this because this whole subreddit believed it. Now, believed it because of what they said. They gave 24 hours to prove that they're right, saying that there's a trailer in 24 hours, which is today. But still, man, that's such an obvious point there. But at least with some age to this account, it won't be outright dismissed. A leaker doesn't care if they're dismissed. Most leakers are dismissed. All leakers are dismissed. You can believe me now or soon after the Pokemon Presents is shown. You can refer to me as Ashley. I have had the chance to be one of the several dozen of people to see the new trailer for BDSP. Oh, you know, that sounds kind of realistic. Okay, so let's get into it. In this new trailer, Team Galactic will be showcased, primarily Cyrus and his officers. I mean, you know, it does sound like a pretty cool trailer. Like, I anticipate seeing a trailer where Team Galactic is shown, and hopefully they all look cool. Dialga and Palkia will be shown transforming into their new forms. Dialga's form is called something close to time, and Palkia's space. No, you didn't. Dialga's form is called something close to time? Like, is his form called something close to time form? Because why the frick would you write something close to time? You obviously know the name. You just couldn't think of one. She just didn't want to think of one. Maybe she left it vague for us to say the obvious, you know, temporal form and spatial form, which is what their dex entries call them, the temporal Pokemon and spatial Pokemon. Sure, Ashley. Contests remain faithful, but now include online. I was gonna question why she would even know this, but you have to remember that she's implying that she's seen the next trailer that's supposed to come out in 24 hours. Online contest is not a bad idea if you can boost contests a bit more, because I could verse people on contests. If there's something worth grinding for, some kind of battle brain like opponent that could pop up in the contest, grinding up to a special Pokemon you can get, maybe a certain shiny Pokemon. Though I'm thinking of the Pokemon Ruby and Sapphire contest, not the Gen 4 one. Online hub in the underground. That is a good idea. I hope that happens. Showing several trainers running around, falling into traps, and hanging out in secret bases. You really paint the picture well. I mean, I imagine it. Several people running around, 2 people in one base. You know, with chibi graphics like this, you can really customize your secret base again. I mean, you can still do it in Sword and Shield like graphics. It's really not that hard to add, you know, big potted tree in the corner of your room, freaking tiles, all this stuff. You can add it. And in fact, there are tiles in Ultra Sun and Moon in the Rainbow Rocket episode that send you all over the place. So they could still do it, but it works a bit better with chibis, I guess. Barry and Dawn/Lucas fight at the survival area. So the survival area is an area in the battle zone. It's a training place for people who aren't good enough for the battle frontier. And in Pokemon Platinum, you can rematch the gym leaders here. There most certainly is a Barry fight in the survival area in Pokemon Platinum. What do they mean Barry and Dawn/Lucas fight? Do we get to fight Dawn/Lucas, like the player we didn't pick? Or are you saying he fights us? You could just say Barry fights you. Barry has a Mega Staraptor and Mega Starter, depending on what the player picks as his or her starter. Yes, Megas are back and new ones will be showcased here as well, not all though. Did she just say he has a Mega Staraptor and another Mega? You know, this has never happened in the history of Pokemon. In the history of the 2 games that had Megas. 3 games. Ultra Sun and Moon, Mega Giovanni. Ain't no one got 2 Megas. They stick with the same Mega for all their life. Prove me wrong. Who has 2 Megas? Archie Sharpedo, Steven Metagross, your rival the starter. Barry with the Mega Staraptor sounds absolutely incredible. But he would just have the starter as a Mega. And not only did you say Megas are back, as if I'm gonna believe you, respectfully, you know, I've decided it just does not make sense that Megas will return. But you said he's gonna have 2. What does this even mean? So after you get your Mega Ring, the first time he uses a Mega against you, it's his Staraptor, and then after a few more rematches, he switches to his starter Pokemon? Never gonna happen, G. Following Pokemon follow you. That is what they do. Are you serious, man? We've seen so many different parts of the game. That snowy place, we've been to the Flower Town. You're telling me it's only after those parts of the game that they're gonna say Pokemon follow you? To be fair, they certainly can follow you. And I mean, I would love if they followed us. Because they're chibis again, this is the ultimate game for Pokemon to follow you. It almost complements it being chibis if Pokemon followed you. There should be a point in the game where Pokemon follow you after. In terms of what they'd show in a trailer, Pokemon following you does seem like something they would have shown in the first trailer, just to really like kiss up to you, make sure you know many good things are in the game. Feels risky if Pokemon did follow us and they didn't show it in that first trailer. But I'm with you there, I would have wanted Pokemon to follow us. Reason I've heard this is possible is due to Masuda's decision to revert to the chibi art style. The graphics processing unit isn't nearly as starstruck as it was for Sword and Shield, making it use less power. Sucker. We could handle following Pokemon in Sword and Shield. What are you talking about? They literally follow us. I've never lagged once with that Pokemon following me. That combi lagged in Pokemon Legends Arceus. Nothing, or was it a Chingling? Nothing lagged with my Pokemon following me. The Switch we have now can handle Pokemon following us. We don't need to talk about the graphics processing unit being starstruck. Man, inanimate objects don't get starstruck. I get starstruck. Freaking overwhelmed. Say overwhelmed. Bro, I don't even know English and starstruck sounds stupid to me. I'm only on the social media side of things. I have zero clue about hardware. So why are you saying this? I'm so mean. And finally, trailer ends with Dawn and Lucas entering the Distortion world. Yeah? Yeah? In Pokemon Brilliant Diamond and Shining Pearl, they're gonna show the Distortion world. 0% chance. Alright? 0% chance. I've said one stupid thing in the past. I said if Maylene, I've said if Candace gets a Mega, that it wouldn't be an Abomasnow and that it would be a Weevil. But I've reconsidered. And I've realized that Weevil would be Cyrus's signature and that she actually fits Mega Abomasnow. I didn't realize what Candace was. So I've been stupid once, but entering the Distortion world, not only is that never going to be in the main story. I mean, listen, anything can happen. But I will sit here and say it's not happening in the main story. If it happens, it's going to be in the post-game or in the DLC. It's just not how they do these remakes of 2 versions. They don't market it as Platinum. They market it as remakes of the 2 games. Even for Auras, the only time they showed Rayquaza was to hype up the post-game Delta episode. They were not in the first trailer that's supposed to hype up the games themselves, like the main stories. They will not show the Distortion world. That would be in like October, November if they would show it. Now the leak is done, but here's where it gets funny. I'm done answering questions. See you tomorrow in 24 hours. So what she said is that the Pokemon Presents will be announced Tuesday morning at 8 a.m., which it wasn't. And the Pokemon Presents will go live at June 23rd at 10 a.m., which it's not gonna. Now, I've already said my reasons, but first of all, I firmly fought to maintain hope that Megas could come back. But right now, I think that's just dangerous. As it stands right now, if these are Gen 8 games, Gen 8 remakes of Sinnoh, at least for the way Pokemon is operated, it's just going to be too confusing for them to introduce this Dynamax gimmick and then just leave it. And now Diamond and Pearl remakes have this new metagame base. I would love for Megas to return, but personally, I think I've finally settled on the thought that they won't return here. They won't return in Sinnoh remakes, but they can still return in the future in Gen 9 and in Gen 5 remakes. But these don't seem like the games they could return, even though these games look like they would be so good if they return. That the Megas would complement the Chibis. But yeah, let's not get into that. I think maybe it's possible G-Maxes will return in these games, which is weird because they're small Chibis in the overworld. But I don't think Megas have a fair shot. And I'm so down to be proven wrong. But I think I've cleared my doubts, and I know for sure, at least in my books, that Megas won't return. You know, it's got a lot of people crying pre-tears of joy, rooting for you to be right. I'll cry tears of joy if this is legit. I don't think this is real because of Megas. Not like I fully believe the leak. You partially believe it? No. I didn't even get to the leak before it seemed obvious this was fake. She freaking knew the rules of a 5,000 members subreddit, man. If that ain't... Who comes here? Who comes to this subreddit, bro? They'd go post it on 4chan. Not like I fully believe the leak, but every other core Pokemon game since X and Y so far has a battling gimmick. They can't just ignore a battle gimmick for these games. For this case, Mega Evolution is the best and only safe choice that wouldn't change too much of the region's lore and story. It would fit with Rowan's expertise as well. You're absolutely right. Megas fit incredibly with this region. And every Pokemon game has had a gimmick, which is why going back now and saying we made a mistake with Ores, we want to do stuff like how we did with Heart Gold and Soul Silver, is dangerous because you've already gotten people used to expecting so much more in a remake. So about Mega Evolutions being a safe choice, this is a point many people overlook. That's why I think Megas are more likely than not. Since modern Pokemon has battle gimmicks and Sinnoh is about evolution, it would make the most sense, but we shouldn't set expectations on it. Thank you. As there's still little we know, and basing hype off a rumor is not the best thing to do based on how leaks have been going recently. I'm not basing this on a rumor. I'm confident based on precedent and sound logic. I think Megas have a 60% chance or so, but not 100. You think Megas have a higher chance of coming than you landing an Oko move? 55 accuracy? I can land 100 Oko moves before Megas have a chance of coming back. Based on precedent and sound logic. Listen, we are not in precedent territory. We've already entered unprecedented territory. These remakes are different. These remakes are them trying something else. So it seems. So your precedence does not exist. Your logic is in your head. Megas could be in the game. They wouldn't disrupt the story or plot points at all. If they're going to add any gimmick, Megas are the only ones that make sense. This is true. So what I said about Dynamax being more likely, it disrupts the story. It disrupts what was originally Sinnoh. Of course, the way I said it is that it would be like an alternate world, like how there's, or as is an alternate world, where someone brought the red energy to Sinnoh, and now things are different. Now we have armbands that in certain locations can do the red spot energy without it being a power spot. And we have all these new Gigantamaxes. But that still disrupts the story of what Sinnoh originally was. Mega Evolution is the most safest thing that doesn't disrupt the story. I mean, there's no Mega Evolution story in the main story of Ores. Archie just has a Mega, Steven just has a Mega, you get a Mega Latias, and only in the post game is there a bit of Mega lore with what Rayquaza is. So Megas are the safest way to improve the story without messing around with it. Although I agree that Megas make the most sense, I could see them adding Dynamax instead. The Dynamax Adventures has me thinking that they could justify having Dynamax Stens being exclusively in the underground. Oh, well that's weird. That way they could keep the strong gimmick and make things more on par with the current gen. That said, I would strongly prefer Megas. Just saying, if they wanted, they could find a way to shoehorn in Dynamax. I think nobody wants Dynamax over Megas in these games. Let me just make that clear. Of course, we're talking about what's reasonably possible. Anyhow, guys, let's stop talking about this. This leak turned out to be fake. What a surprise. You read the whole leak and waited a whole 24 hours. This is what leakers do. They just gamble and say a certain date because it makes people take them more seriously. I don't need to look at the leak to know this is fake. The fact that you said... the fact that you know the rules of a 5,000 member subreddit is killing me, man. That being said, I'm really excited to see what does happen. Either in, you know, mid-July or as early as like June 28 or something, when that Pokemon Presents does get announced. Because we will find out what's up with the game. Are there G-Maxes? You know, once they announce their G-Maxes and explain how they are in this region, stuff gets interesting. And then, you know, as well as the mystery of whether Dialga and Palkia are doing something interesting on the covers. I feel like regardless of what happens, this next trailer that comes in the inevitable Pokemon Presents will answer our biggest questions about this game. Whatever your questions may be, it will answer it. And we'll finally know. Well, y'all, shank the like button. See you on the next video. Take care.
This the sound of my alchemy, the greatest success for all those who fell for me. I always respect the friends who wish well for me and live until the end and die. All time will tell for me, but I ain't going anywhere, believe me.
I wanted to make sure you believed me. This whole subreddit believed this, fam. I didn't see this until today. If I saw this, I would have laughed my ass off. Freaking my account is now 2 days old. I can post here.